So guys, we'll just wait for 1 more minute. So people are logging in, I think. So just to let you know, we have Miraj Thomas, who is the Academic Director of Career Launcher and mentoring all undergrad students for different courses like law, BBA, IPM, hotel management, mass communication for last 5 years. Very good speaker, motivator, and can really guide you with your career options available. Okay, so over to Miraj sir.
All right, thank you, Manu sir. It was so nice to hear such a lot of things about your own self. I was just wondering, okay, oh wow, these are something coming from my side. So pretty nice to hear that. Thank you. Let me ask the people around. My voice is clear. Am I audible enough? And the video is also clear. At the same time, what I'm going to do is I'll share my screen also with you all, so that you can see the PPT along the same time that I'm talking with you. So let me also do that with you. There we have it. So I guess you are also able to see the PPT along with the video. Great. Okay. No issue. So I'm sure one of the major purpose why you have joined this session. In fact, thank you to all of you. I'm sure we have parents, we have students, we have people from 10th standard, I think we have people from 11th standard also who are attending this session. One major reason why you would be attending this session would be, what next, right? That's one question which keeps on bothering a lot of people, a lot of parents along with the children. Ab kya? 10th is done, there are so many options available, so what am I actually going to be doing after 10th? What kind of stream? The first problem might be like, what stream should we be selecting? Am I going to select science, or I'm going to select commerce, or am I going to be selecting arts? I have a lot of parents who come to me and they ask me, science le lete hain, sare ke sare option khule reh jayenge. So in that case, in future, if you don't want to get into a technical side, still we will have the option available. Maybe if we plan to take a science field later on, then we should have that feasibility. So let's take science. Or there are some who are like deciding factors based on the score which you would get. So 10th ka score aane ke baad decide karenge which stream you would select. I think that's not the right way of making these kind of choices. So probably during this entire session, what we're going to do is we'll have discussions about some cliche options which we always have, some typical career options that we have, and along with the same time, we would also discuss about few of the other career options which is very much possible along with this COVID and pandemic situation that is still on and can be looked onto, and probably it can be a better option than one which are existing. During this entire session, let me also tell you, I am not against any particular session or any particular career. I am not against any, or I'm not in favoring of any particular one. I'll be telling you which is good, which is bad. End of the day, you are the one who need to make your decisions based on your likings, based on your abilities, based on your skills. You should be making that particular choice. But the good part is we should know at least what all things, what all options we have, right? So going further, the biggest problem at the moment, what I think or what I have seen is this question, a what to do dilemma. And this is something which would be there with the parents, especially the parents who have the children in 10th standard, who cleared their examination or who have given their board examination, awaiting for results. I think July 15th is when most of the results are supposed to be declared. A couple of colleges have already declared them. So this is one question which normally comes up. What to do? What is my child going to do? Right? So one question, which career should I be taking after graduation, or after 12th standard, or after 10th standard itself. I have to make that decision. Even if I make that decision, there's another thought process which comes in, that have I taken the right decision? Whether I opted science, was that the right choice which I did? Or maybe I opted commerce. Is that the right path which I did? I should have been taking science. Why did I opt for commerce? These kind of questions come in. And at the end, even if I have taken these kind of options, what am I going to do after that? Right? Or what can be the best possible college to get into? What is the best career options available after selecting these things? There's one basic question which comes in. And हम इसके लिए करते क्या हैं? How are we making these choices? We generally get into kind of psychometric tests. We try doing brain mapping. We try doing career counselings. We try doing aptitude tests. दुनिया भर की चीजें we keep on doing just to figure out that what should be the best option which I should look at. There's nothing wrong in it. Absolutely fine. That is absolutely correct. Why will I not be doing it? If I am a parent of a child, I would be worried about my child, or what is the future going to be. And based on that, whatever thing I can do, I go and do it. Many a times, the answers which you get after psychometric test may not be 100% correct. May not be the one which really that skill is there. It could be that at the moment of time, whatever came to that child's mind is what came out of the psychometric. The career counseling which happens, many a times it can also be dependent upon that who is doing it. If they are specifically looking at a particular domain, they might counsel you and take you to that particular domain. So maybe we need to make decisions based on that. Now, quickly in the first couple of minutes, let's go through the three streams which mainly people question about, for example, science, commerce and arts. So with science, what all can be done is something which we can say. So if you are a person who know that you have that science thing in you, you have the ability of or very good with maths, or very good with science abilities, or specifically I mentioned this group A part is because I divided the science into two segments, one into the engineering segment, the other into the medicine segment. People say that if you're good in maths, you should select science. If you're good in physics, you should select science. If you are, if you enjoy doing things, you should select science and you should do engineering. What I would suggest is, if you really want to do engineering and you have that engineer in you as of now itself, you are that creative that every time you have that sense coming into it, like I need to make something new, or why does this particular thing happen? How is the functioning of a particular system? If these are kind of features or these are kind of thought processes which come into it, then probably you should be looking at engineering as an option. You can do BTech, you can do BE, you can do Bachelor of Science, you can do BPharm, architecture. All of these fields are possible if you're looking at science as a field. Along with commerce and arts field also. So let me add up in that manner that if you're selecting science, it is correct that you would still have the option of all the possibilities in commerce and science also. Arts also. When you're talking about BTech, again, it's not just computer engineering, or it is not just information technology, or it's not just looking at mechanical engineering, or probably electronics and telecommunication engineering. If you look at the current structure, you have a lot of fields which is available: aerospace, mining, mineral, oceans, petroleum, chemical engineering, communication engineering, environmental engineering. So plenty of engineering options available. However, before you make the choice, if you have that engineering kida, what we call it. If you remember the Joy logo from that movie, 3 Idiots, yeah. Something different than what the world thinks about. Something unique is what that creating element comes into you. If that is there in you, then you should be looking forward for engineering as an option. and I will not say whether it's good, bad at the moment. We'll see to it in some time how does it work. With this, let me jump on to the second part of the science segment, which would be the what do you want to call it? The medicine area. At least for medicines, I would suggest that yes, if you're a person who has a keen interest in becoming a doctor, whatever kind of doctor it is, it's not necessarily the MBBS. It can be BDS, it can be BMS, it can be BSMS, it can be BUMS also. The Unani ones, the homeopathic ones. If you have that kind of interest, then again science would be one area which you should be selecting after 10th standard. Where all you can work, again relevant at the moment. First, if it is engineering, if it is architecture, if it is something related to that designing segment, then you should be definitely selecting science. If it is medicine, or if it is anything related to the technical systems, then you should definitely be looking at that. Oh, thank you. I can read that too. So, with the same part of it continuing. So, any of these segments, if you are completely firm, I need technical domains, then science is what I would recommend. But along with the same time, when it comes to commerce, it's a myth or kind of an orthodox mentality, what I want to call it. Many people consider that if you are weak in maths, or if you are weak in science, or if your scores are less, then we should be selecting commerce. No, it should not be considered like that way. If you have the inclination towards getting into a financial domain, or if you have interest into investment banking, if you have interest into any kind of venture financing, if you want to become a chartered accountant for that matter, if you want to have a certified financial programmer or planner or accountant at that manner, any of these streams, if you're looking at, all of these streams need maths. You need to be good in maths, even for all of those accountancies. So we cannot make a decision for commerce based on maths as a segment. And if you're making that kind of a decision, then probably I would suggest that's a wrong decision. We should not be making a decision like that. People think that science would always be an upper stream over commerce. It's not like that. Science will have its own streams, commerce will have its own streams, and if you look at probably arts and humanities, we can say it will again have its own streams. So with commerce, if you're looking at BCom or BCom honors, or probably you want to do something related to BBA in the management fields, you want to get into IPM, wherein you can directly get into IMs. If you have that as an interest, you want to do financial accounting, maybe commerce would be a stream which you should be focusing on. At the same time, let me take you to arts or humanities or social studies, whatever you want to call it. At least I remember there was a period when, probably in my childhood, students might also agree with me. Maybe a couple of the parents also might remember when they were like the studying age. Whenever there is a family gathering, or what do you want to call it, a kind of a function in the house, or any function which we go, and we go with our parents. 10th standard का student अगर किसी function में जाता है parent के साथ में, right? Definitely we have our parents' friends who are there. So they'll come to you, they'll ask you, हाँ बेटा कैसे हो, क्या कर रहे हो, science कर रहे हो, अच्छा 10th के बाद science लिया है. So the facial reaction immediately is very good, nice. And that becomes like kind of a prestige symbol for your parents also. Oh, okay, good. The moment you say commerce, so the friend of your, maybe the relative or the friend of your parent would be actually looking at you, and then the reaction would be, अच्छा science में weak हुआ, है ना, इसलिए commerce लिया. That's the immediate reaction which comes up, and you would be like looking at your parent, right? And for that matter, आपने अगर arts लिया हो, right? And you go to any such kind of a gathering, and if any relative of yours or a family friend of yours comes up and talks to you और आपसे पूछता है वो आपने क्या लिया है 10th के बाद आप क्या कर रहे हो बेटा arts कर रहे हो then they won't look at you, they look at your parent, and the way they look at you, look at the parent is like this, जाने दो कुछ नहीं होगा हो जाएगा like something wrong you have done is what is the reaction which you get when you actually tell them that you have selected science or arts instead of science. But then now it should not be looked on in that particular manner is what I am saying. We have plenty of options available. In fact, if you remove the technical aspects, if you remove engineering and if you remove medicine or anything related to the technical medicines or any like the biotech, and if you remove those segments, you have all the opportunities, all the career options available with commerce as well as with arts. So what we need to look at is when we are selecting these streams, we need to probably understand what is my skill, not what is my score, what is my interest, not what is others thinking. What is something unique in me, not what people think is unique. And that would be a way how we can probably look onto it and make a selection of it. The other factor when you make a selection for science, commerce or arts would be any college you want to get into after your 12th standard, because your decision would definitely be based on what are you going to do after 12th, right? And subsequently what is your career option. If that is the case, you should be again making a decision based on which college you are getting into, because it is very important in your UG through your undergraduate program. You need to have one of the best colleges. That's a very important factor. Where do you do your graduation from, rather than what you do, where you do it from. And unfortunately, for any of the graduations, even if we include engineering and medicine, and even if we take the unconventional career options which are there, all of them you need to undergo an entrance exam. So your admissions after 12th standard, it depends completely upon your entrance exam. How much you score in your entrance exam and where do you stand in the All India ranking. Specifically, if I talk about the unconventional career options which are there, your 12th standard score does not matter anymore. But that doesn't mean that you're not going to study for 12th standard. You definitely have to study and you have to score well also. But then you need to have ample amount of time where you are able to bridge a balance between your academic and your entrance exams preparations. Wherever you prepare, whatever you prepare, you have to prepare. You cannot just blindly write an entrance exam either, right? You will have to make your preparations. So my 11th and 12th standard academic selection should be in a manner that I am able to bridge my academics. I am able to give sufficient amount of time for my 11th and 12th standard. At the same time, I have more than enough of time where I am able to prepare for my entrance exams. Now let me tell you, when we talk about these unconventional career options, apart from engineering and medicine ones, most of these entrance exams, they are not memory based. ये ऐसा नहीं है कि हमने एक हफ्ता एक महीना पहले बैठ के पढ़ लिया, याद कर लिया, we memorized all of those things, and then we are going on the exam day and paper पे लिख के आ गए. We can't do that. In these competitive examinations, they don't test your memory, they test your skill. They want to see what skill you possess. They want to understand your abilities. And if you are looking at developing these kind of skills, if you want to like polish up your abilities which are there, you need to practice. And if you want to practice, you need time. 11th and 12th standard, if you don't get time, if you are completely occupied with your academic or with any kind of curricular activities, then probably would be a wrong decision when you selected your academics. So when you make the decisions, keep this also in mind. One, your ability, right? Your likings, the interests, the skills which you possess, and how are you able to bridge this balance between your curricular activities and your entrance exam preparations along with your academic success, right? So moving forward, now I also want to tell you one more thing. So yahan tak to from the 10th standard point of view, if I say majority of the time it is the parent who is under this kind of a dilemma. Kya karna hai, what to do dilemma which is there. Majority of the time it is the parent who is there. That is why they take you to psychometric test and your mind mapping, brain mapping, and then they come out with these things. But then there is one more dilemma. आप एक बार 11th standard में एक stream ले लेते हो, whatever stream you select, right? Most of the students, I will not say you specifically, but then we have a good chunk of students जहाँ पे the mindset works in this manner. We just cleared our 10th standard, right? We have been studying a lot. Board exam था, हमने दिन रात एक कर दी है. Yes, Rohan Shinde, I can see you raising. Why don't you put up the question or any comment which you have in the chat box? I'll take it up if you have to ask something. Right. So once you finish up your 10, like you have studied hard, you have like din raat ek kar di hai, and now you come up with a score. Maybe you scored 90-95% in your 10th standard also. 11th standard is a relaxing cooling off. ये एक mindset near about 80-85% of the children carry this. That अभी तो हम पढ़ के निकले, एक साल बाद वापस से वही पढ़ना है. We need to get into the board again, so we're going to be putting up same kind of an effort. So this 11th standard is a cooling off period. It's not a cooling off period. It's the preparation. It's another pedal for something in the future. Probably you can say your cooling off period would be somewhere after your 12th standard entrance exam, not even after your 12th standard board. Once you finish up your 12th standard entrance exam, then once you get a college of your choice, that's when you can say, jam gaya, I got it. Now I can probably relax for some time. Till that time, we don't have the feasibility to sit and relax. Maybe for some while, yes. Maybe a week or so, probably, yes. Looking at the current condition, we can't even take a vacation at least. So thanks to the pandemic which is there, so we can't do anything. अगर वैसा ही situation है, that means we have ample amount of time with us. ये बात भी सही है, घर पे बैठे-बैठे आप परेशान भी हो रहे हो. But we need to find something which interests you and you study that. That will help you out. So, what we see normal situations when students take some particular stream and then somewhere around 11th standard तो इसी cooling off period में निकल जाता है. So somewhere around end of 11th standard, it's in the mid time, nobody will ever be considering क्या करना है क्या नहीं करना. ये हम बाद में सोचें. This is the mindset. अभी तो टेंशन है हमारे पास टाइम. 2 साल है हमारे पास ये सोचने के लिए कि what I'm going to do after 12. But then somewhere when you reach the end of not even before your 11th standard examination, this is another dilemma which happens with the children. What to do dilemma. The same dilemma which was there with the parents earlier, now it is there with the children. अभी थोड़ा सा हल्का सा उन्हें एक pressure feel होने लगता है, right? They come up with these kind of pressures like where to go, कहाँ जाना चाहिए 12th के बाद में, या तो फिर क्या करना चाहिए, what am I going to be doing after 12, whatever I'm going to select, am I even made for that, am I a person who would be able to succeed in whatever I'm doing. These are the questions which come up, and in fact these pressures ये उन्हें अपने आप नहीं आता है. You won't get this particular pressure automatically. Maybe there's a question which came up, probably an hour and a half, Manisha. So this thought process comes up because of these 3 pressure points. Now I have divided it across into 3 segments. So your first pressure point which the children get in their 11th standard is parents. उनसे ये pressure आने लगता है. Probably you can agree or you can tell me whether it's correct or not. हर एक common dialogue बहुत सारे घरों में देखने को मिलता है. The common dialogue is something like this. गुप्ता सर के बेटे को देखा 10th standard में 94%. He has already started his coaching from 8th standard. He knows he needs to do engineering. दिन रात पढ़ता है. देशपांडे मैडम की बेटी 96% और तुम पबजी खेलते रहो, right? That's when slightly, because ये चलता तो रहता ही है, but probably by end of 11th standard is slightly when the children start feeling, okay, I need to do something. There are even times when I have heard that Subramaniam's son scored 96%. You only scored 92. There's a difference of 4%. How could you do that? What isn't there to do? So such pressures also come. The second pressure point is their own peers. Like by the time there are like most of the smart people who are there, like they join some of the institutions and they have already made their decisions. The planning is done that this is how the career progression is going to happen. I'm going to do this in this particular period of time. Till 12th, I'm going to be studying this way. I'm going to take this kind of a coaching. I'm going to learn these all things. And then I'm going to get into such and such college. Yahan se such and such placement. And then go on like that. So when a person who hasn't decided what to do, and how are you going to continue further, and when there is no planning done, this pressure happens. And the common factor which we see is like the student going and asking your own friends, तुम क्या करने वाले हो? मैं engineering करने वाला हूँ. ठीक है, मैं भी करता हूँ. अच्छा, आप क्या करने वाले हो? I'm going to do something on quantum physics. नाम भी नहीं सुना रहेगा. सुनने में it's a little classy. Okay, I'll also do it. Third person, what I'm going to do? I'm going to join NDA. I have to serve the nation. Okay, sounds good. I'll also do it. There are decisions which are based on these things also. And at the end, third P is their own personal pressure. ये आता है somewhere around 12th के mid में, when they know that they have not done anything till that period of time. And then they start worrying about certain things. What happens at that time is you have your board exams also coming up. You have to prepare for your entrance exam also. You don't know exactly what kind of progression you need to see. And we look forward for easier options. Sasta, Sundar, Tikau is the funda what we either ways kept on carrying. So that's exactly what we do. But to get rid of these things is what we need to see. If we have to plan, then probably we can plan something in a better fashion. And right now you have ample amount of time to actually plan a lot of things. If I have to generally plan, what am I going to do? I'm going to look for a little longer period, somewhere around 7 to 8 years from now. So 2 years of your academics, your 11th and 12th standard probably, and then probably another 5 to 6 odd years. I'm going to say, where do you stand, or where am I going to stand after 7 or 8 years? Or where do I want to stand after 7 to 8 years? From there, probably we need to do the reverse mechanism. If I see that this is exactly where I need to stand, and from there, what all things I need to do, then step by step, you will be able to say what all things can be done. But हमें एक और problem है. 7 से 8 साल में अगर कहाँ पहुँचना है, अगर ये देखना है तो normally what do we see? हम देखेंगे that we need to have a good career with loads of money, right? We don't want to do charity. That's number one. At the same time, we need to have an ability of doing anything and buying anything. When I say buying anything, I'm talking about like एक बड़ा सा घर होना चाहिए, एक बड़ी सी गाड़ी होनी चाहिए, latest accessories और mobiles होने चाहिए. That's more or less what we think, because we're only thinking 7 to 8 years from now. ठीक है? अभी इस चीज को अगर करना भी है, there's nothing wrong in thinking like that. That's absolutely fine. If you're thinking in that order, I need to also understand that what is the requirement to do that. So I need to get a job, right? I need to get a job with loads of money. So how to get a high salary job, that too with less competition? ये हमारे दिमाग में पहला सवाल उठ के आ जाता है. अगर हमें एक जॉब डिफिकल्टी से अगर मिलनी है तो हम ये सोचेंगे नहीं. I will always try to find easier and simpler manner or simpler ways of finding it. Even in that way, let's see, what is the current requirement if I have to get any of these things right? So my first requirement is I should have best of the educations from top universities in our country, right? At the same time, I would also need a better placement, dynamic companies coming in with huge remunerations coming and doing your placements in your colleges. At the end, the examinations to get into these colleges should be easy to clear. Should be a requirement. One, best education from the top-notch universities in the country or maybe abroad. Good placements in those universities, the campus placements which are there, which are offering, it should not be just a position, but we also need to look forward for the money part of it. So a huge salary placement. At the same time, these examinations should be easier. That would be the basic requirement. In requirement ke saath, look at the three typical options which we normally select. The typical career choices what we have: engineering, medicine, or CA or chartered accountancy or probably CS, company secretary. We'll go one by one, all of them. Like I said in the beginning, I'm not against any of them, but we should know what are the challenges also in it. Now let's look at the first one, probably. The first career option, if you remember this particular movie, it looks so lucrative, the Three Idiots movie, that कोई भी इंसान engineering करना चाहे ही लेगा. Like एक बार तो भी engineering कर ही लेंगे. Probably many people end up into engineering looking at the movies also. I'm not saying that all should be doing that, but at the same time, look at the other side of it. Look, you probably, if you see, let me show you. Look at this picture, this one. This is exactly the condition of an engineering college. This is the condition of the entrance exam versus the engineering colleges. If you have to do engineering, the best part, yes, you should be doing engineering. If you have that interest in you, one, either you should be doing it from the IITs. If not the IITs, then you should be probably doing it from at least the tier 1 colleges which are similar to the IITs. If not, then that is difficult. Because okay, we'll see that, what happens if that's the case. So that's your first choice, engineering. Let's see what are the problems which we face with these IIT part of it. First one, we have somewhere around like more than 15 lakh aspirants every year who appear for this IIT exam, especially for IIT mains. Now, wo baat bhi alag hai that each year, right, the number of aspirants towards IIT JEE exam are reducing, right? But then we still have approximately 15 lakh odd aspirants who write this exam. Kya hota hai uske baad mein? Out of this 15 lakh, you hardly have 2 odd lakh, a little more than 2 odd lakh people who clear the IIT mains, and they have again appear for their IIT advanced. So 2 lakh went ahead people. We have near about 11,000 odd seats in the IITs in our country, and they get their final selection. But again, they get the admission in the streams which they did not opt for. When bad branches, what I mean by bad branches would be more like you wanted an admission in probably computer science, but the specific seating arrangements or the quotas and the ranking according to your position, you can only get an admission into maybe chemical engineering, probably petroleum engineering. You never wanted to do mechanical engineering, but as per your rank, as per your score, what you're getting is mechanical engineering. So again you have to opt. Why IIT? कैसे छोड़ सकते? That's another problem with it, right? At the same time, if you see, most of the IITians who finish their graduation, after finishing up their BE Tech, they appear for CAT, Common Admission Test, for management, for MBA, right? And thereby, you have your 4 years of your engineering, and then you also have somewhere around another 2 years of your management exam. So you are, again, even the IITians, they're spending in about 6 years before they finally end up and reach their final destination, which is pretty okay again, because our initial mindset was like 7 to 8 odd years, chalo theek hai. But agar dhyan mein ye rakhna hai that ye bhi karne ke liye we had to spend here about 6 odd years like this. Another challenge there. At the same time, if I have to look at, let me see another stream. Oh, forgot to tell you. Now, this is one cutout which I was actually reading India Today, and while flipping off pages, so I somehow came across this particular page. ये मेरा बनाया हुआ नहीं है. We have 75,000 engineers who are graduates or other engineers and graduates who are applying for 30,000 new jobs. Don't feel bad. That's the reality of a country. Every year, we have near about 17 lakh engineers who pass out. कहाँ नौकरी मिलेगी इन्हें? IITs, we have near about 11 to include the tier 1 colleges also. Even if we consider the tier 1 colleges, let's take a round figure of 25,000. Let's take a much bigger one. 35,000, 50,000. चलो लेके चलते हैं. लेके भी. Tier 1, tier 2 भी ले लेते हैं. 50,000 engineers probably might be getting a good placement or a decent placement. We still have 17 lakh people. बाकी के कॉलेजेस का भी अगर प्लेसमेंट भी लेकर चलो और 1-2 लाख को प्लेसमेंट दे देते हैं. We still have near about 14 odd lakh people. कहाँ जाएंगे? And we are only talking about engineers at the moment, people. Remember that. You have most of them, so near about 3 to 4 odd lakh people, they go for further education every year. जिसमें से कुछ लोग गेट के लिए निकलते हैं. There are some of the people who get into management industries. Like we saw the IITians, most of them, they try management. Because that's one good way of having a much higher salary. Top of level of the management, you are paid much better. So that's one of the reasons why this particular article came up. There were near about 75,000 engineers and graduates who were applying for 30 peon jobs. Yes. Even if you're getting a job at the entry level, what are you being paid? You are sitting in an IT company, or probably you at an entry level, 3.5 to 4 is what your basic or your salary comes up to. That's the package which you get. Somewhere around 25,000 to 30,000 is the entry level what is being paid at the moment. Something which we need to worry about, right? Looking at MBBS, a prestigious career option. Definitely, I would agree with that. But then the point is, if medicine could have been this kind of ease, the way this particular movie happened, probably it was more interesting, it was more lucrative also. But ऐसा हो तो नहीं पाता, right? You have to go through a lot of ups and downs when you come to or when you talk about MBBS. Now let's quickly see the challenges, the problems which we see in that area also. One second. One of the biggest problem with MBBS is you have a huge syllabus. Not that easy to clear these examinations. You have to study hard. You have to have that kind of passion towards medicine. And at the same time, your career starts pretty late in this particular profession. Because you cannot just do MBBS and start getting into a job. You'll have to probably do MBBS, then probably FRCS, MS, MD, I don't know what all things you need to get onto. And if you have to become that reputed qualified doctor, not less than 35 to 40 years of your age is what you start your actual career with. I haven't seen a 25, 26 year reputed doctor. I wish I would love to see that one. We have doctors, but then we always need that brand name. We need to have those kind of degrees after their name. And it will take time again. So that's one of the biggest problems. Just to let you know again, if I talk about the numbers, again, like the IIT JEE, even for NEET, if you have to write NEET, then there are about 7 to 8 lakh aspirants who write NEET every year. AIMS के अगर overall admissions or overall seating देखेंगे तो 7 to 8,000 seats is what they have. Again, if you consider the other government medical colleges, probably another 4 or 5,000 extra. That means you can do the mathematics. 7 to 8 lakh aspirants, and probably we have 7 to 10,000 seats in these reputed colleges. Because there is no point you going into any college and studying. You would definitely need a college which has that brand name to it and that quality of faculty and the education and inputs given to it. Else it will not matter, right? So that is still there in medicine. Again, if I look at the third career option, TA or CS, most commonly, again, if I see last year's number, so 15% is what but let me give you some good statistics. It was somewhere around 1.3 million, so somewhere around 13 odd lakh aspirants were there for the initial paper. Now the paper patterns have also been changed. It was not like the earlier CPT, IPCC. So they have changed. Now it is at intermediate and the levels which are there, considering whatever the difficulties are. So clearing percentage, 15% would be for that initial level. By the time you start your initial set, and by the time the 13 lakh, by the time you reach CA final 1 and 2, it was 42,000. After all of these things, right? Do the mathematics and see, 13 lakh 42,000. Achha, they reached CA first paper and second paper, CA finals. Out of that 42,000, the overall passing percentage was 11% of 42,000. Even in that 11%, 6% were girls, 5% were men. That's the number. आज आके कितना आएगा? 4-5 हजार. So we have 4 or 5 or for 1,000 aspirants who are able to pass CA examinations. And even after clearing all of this, are you really able to succeed well? That's a challenge, right? That's the other challenge. So even after you doing all of these things, even after you doing CA, you have so many CAs who don't have the job because you need to again practice under some reputed chartered accountant. So what are you doing? You are again getting into MBA. You do probably do a global MBA, or you do a certified financial accounting, or you do a certified financial planner, or you do an MBA in finance and or probably data analytics also. Why? To sustain in this job. 6-7 odd years of this particular flow. Again, you need to write another examination which is CAT. To crack, you need to crack CAT, and then you get a better admission in one of the top B schools to get that kind of high salary job. These are a couple of challenges which we are again facing. At the moment, if we see, हम आज के stage में, we are already at a level जहाँ पे we are in this kind of race which is there. So for the next 4 or 5 years, you are already in this line. All of you. By the time, so at the moment you're not even here. So you'll have to reach here. So your 10th and 12th, and after this is when you reach here. So finally, after your graduation, when you finally graduate, the current stage of our country, at least, your problem is not this, your problem is here. The moment you graduate from here is when the challenge starts because of the unemployment situations. Not all colleges have that kind of beautiful placements. So we need to again look what college you have been admitted, what are the placements involved in those colleges, how much placements have happened, is there 100% placements which are there. So all of these factors need to be looked into when you even select a college with respect to these things. Okay, so too much of Darana and all. Right, again, I would say in IIT or MBBS or CA, people who don't clear, who don't qualify the examination, at that point of time, they don't have a plan B. What they actually do is, whatever plan they have during that phase or after the results which are there, is when then they decide for a plan. It's very important that we look forward for a plan B also, along with the existing one which we do. Right? Because without plan, what you get is this. This is not what we want, right? Like, we don't need chiller. We don't want to earn chiller. और ये मिलने के बाद में सब कुछ हो जाने के बाद में, like only with one plan, at the end what we end up with is like this. बाद में रोने से फायदा है नहीं, correct? So we need to plan appropriately at this stage itself, that how, when and what, where also makes a lot of difference. So with that, like looking at the typical career options, so we have stiff competitions which are there in the IITs, which we just saw. The MBBS, if we see, then we again have a little late career startups for doctors, like I said, the age of 40, and then the overall passing results for CA is again very less. So we have challenges in these. Probably if we can mitigate this, we have some different choices, like a fourth or a fifth choice, through which we can have less competition, through which we can look at a career which can start early and an easier one to clear. Probably that would be the best one at the current situation, rather than again getting into engineering, medicine at the same time. So if I have to look onto that, then probably after 12, there are few careers which I selected out, and I'm thinking that probably these areas can make a lot of difference, which are upcoming at the moment. And if I see 5 years down the line from here, we can see good scope in these areas. So what are they? Then they are, okay, now before those, let me also tell you something. For engineering, you have a specific examination, IIT. For medicine, you have a specific examination, which is NEET. For chartered accountancy, again, you have a specific examination, which is in fact specific, there are multiple examinations which you need to get. However, when we talk about few unconventional career options which are there, for those unconventional career options, there's one thing which is common, and that is this. Because for a fair selection in any of these colleges, you all have to undergo the same process. That means you want to get into one field, that's the same process. You want to get into another field, That is again the same process. You want to get into a fourth, a third, a fifth. Most of them, they have a common entrance exam which you need to give. When I mean common, it's not the same exam which you need to give, but if you study the sections and the syllabus properly, all of them have a common syllabus. There are different examinations, but then they are common syllabus. So why not we prepare something common, and I have my plan A, my plan B, and my plan C also in place. Let me show you how. Let's see a couple of them. How the syllabus is common for most of the areas. Let's see that. Now, a couple of career options which we're going to be discussing about would be one, with respect to law, management, media and mass communication. We will be discussing about hotel management, part of liberal studies, because this is a new area which a lot of people are mostly interested, and also economics. It's been a long time that people have started avoiding economics, but then a beautiful area which we can still look onto. Let's look at them one by one. So we have law as a career. Now I remember when I was talking about these gatherings, there was a time when I'm talking about some 10-15 years ago, law as a career was like kept as the last option. Like, you are not doing anything to, like, for example, if you take arts, right, already you have a blame that आपका कुछ हो नहीं रहा है, आप पढ़ने में अच्छे नहीं हो, इसलिए आपने आर्ट्स लिया है. अभी आर्ट्स लेने के बाद में after 12, what are you going to do? You're going to be doing like BA or probably BA. अब BA करने के बाद में क्या करें? तो इससे अच्छा एक काम करो, जाओ वकालत करो, and with that वकालत probably कुछ नहीं होगा तो आप कोर्ट के बाद छतरी खोल के तो भी बैठ सकते हैं, and you will have at least 2-3 names given up to you. This was the understanding of law some 15-20 odd years ago. And even with respect to admissions also, if you're not getting an admission in any of the college, probably based on your 12th standard score, you go and take an admission in law college. That's how it was earlier. But now, you need to undergo a national examination. Like the IITs of engineering, we still, and probably if I talk about the IIMs of management, in the similar fashion, we have the NLUs, which is nothing but the national law universities for law curriculum. They are nothing but the national universities to study, one of the best colleges to study, the best universities in legal field in India. Altogether, there are 23 odd colleges available. The common exam which you need to take for that is CLAT, Common Law Admission Test. Through CLAT, you can get admission into 22 colleges, because there's another college which is NLU Delhi. For that, you have a separate examination. We'll talk about that. Now look at the aspirantship list. 2019, there were near about 47,000 people who appeared for CLAT exam. Now we have 47,000 people appearing here, and we had near about 1.5 odd million people writing IIT. And number of seats also, we still have somewhere around 3 to 5,000 seats available in law colleges. I'm talking about the NLUs which are there. Definitely we can do the mathematics and see which one would be a better option or easier option through which we can get into. And am I studying the entire 11th standard and 12th standard syllabus to crack that competitive examination? Then no. Comparatively, the syllabus is much smaller, simpler, and easy to understand syllabus. I won't say that it is something which can be done in a month or so. You need to practice. Like I said at the beginning, the key element of these entrance examinations are skills. So we need to get the skills right. We need to practice that. But the syllabus section is still smaller. We can still work onto that part. Again, if I look at the average salaries which the law colleges are providing the NLUs. If I consider the top 5 NLU, the average salary is near about 12 to 14 odd lakh, which they are offering. It is, I won't say all of them, but it is still better than some of the IITs which they are offering, considering the average salaries. So law also has as a profession, it's coming up. Now this is something which I talked about our country. If someone is looking at law to be practiced out in another country, then probably the options are much higher. Let me show you something. With law, people consider that only litigation is what we can do. But then with law, you can also do corporate law. You can get into any kind of a social domain. You can still be a part of the research and analysis part. You can be an academician. You can apply for judicial services. You can be a part of the international organizations, whether it's a diplomacy or in fact the UN or any public relation areas. You can be a part of any of these. Along with that, there's a new concept of these legal process outsourcing. There's a college in Delhi, Jindal Global School of Law. Near about 70% of the placements, they happen to the national law universities. Sorry, the 70% of the placement, they happen to the legal process outsourcing. And that's a good area. They give a good placement also. It's nothing but like we have the BPO industry, whatever cases and things which with respect to law happen in different countries, the documentation and drafting, that's been sent across to India, and we try doing the documentation and drafting here. And in order to do those kind of drafting, we still need a lawyer or a kind of a knowledge to do that. So that's where these people practice. We got a question. Can we study law abroad and then practice in India? If I consider, like for example, there's a university in Flinders. There's a lot of bridge program which has been currently introduced. So here the law, if you see, it is for 5 years now. So we have both, in fact, 3 year and 5 year. But now it is always better to go for the 3 year one instead of the, go for the 5 year one instead of the 3 year. If in the similar fashion, if I see Flinders University in Australia, they have a 4-year program, and 4 years you study in Australia, you get an Australian degree, or you can do criminology there also. And they have a bridge program with NLU Delhi, National Law University in Delhi. 1 year you study there, you get a 5-year degree also. And through that you are eligible to practice in Indian Bar Council also, and also in Australia. Similarly, there are different bridge programs across with different countries. So to answer to that particular question, can we study law abroad and then practice in India? Yes, through that you can. But if it is US, there might be a problem, because if you study in US, then probably you might have to practice in US, or else here you will have to do a few other examinations to get qualified for that. Going further, look, what I wanted you to focus on would be this area, because we were talking about a common element. So the overall CLAT examination, it consists of 150 marks. So you'll come to know, you'll get that information if you Google it up. Look at what they question you. They question you on GK, they question you on English, they question your logical reasoning and maths. So maths is completely 10 standard maths, whatever you have done till your elementary level. And the percentage of maths is the least in this exam. Hardly 10% of this overall paper is maths. Then you have logical reasoning, for which do you really need to study something separately to understand what is logical reasoning? Then no. But then do you need to practice logical reasoning? Then yes. So GK, and in this GK also, this is ideally 75 to 80% of this GK is nothing but current affairs. And that too current affairs for the past 8 to 10 odd months from the exam date. Something which is yet to happen in the future. Doable. One additional part which is there in this exam is this legal. You will have to cater to legal, some part of it. Again, it's not the entire law which you need to study. What the consortium would be actually testing would be that how well can you reason law? How well can you understand? How well can you input your reasonings with respect to law? They won't be asking you law points, case laws and all of those things. So an area or a simpler elements through it, in fact, interesting topics also. English is something which you have already been doing. Something which can be easily blended and bridged with your 11th and 12th standard curriculum. Right? Let's see the other areas also. Okay, with respect to Plan B, this is what I was talking about, that you still have AILET is the examination for NLE Delhi. Symbiosis also has a law college and an examination. SLAT is the exam which you can give as an alternative. There are near about 85 private universities existent. LSAT is the examination which you can give. Through LSAT, let me tell you, this is LSAT India and not LSAT Global, because there are two LSAT. Law School Admission Test. Global is something which you do when you have to practice or study law abroad after graduation, because LSAT Global can only be done after graduation. Probably if you want to go study in Stanford or Yale or Cambridge, you will have to do LSAT Global. This one is LSAT India. Yes, we do have a doubt clearing session, Kalpana. At the end we'll do questions. And then we have the state examination, which is Maharashtra CET. It just got started in 2016. So earlier you could have got admission directly into law colleges in Maharashtra also, but now you will have to undergo this examination too. All of these exams can be given with that one progression, what you did for CLAT, because the syllabus for all of them, they are same and common. I mean, multiple examinations can be given in the domain too, even by preparing one part. Okay, let's see. Let's go further. Jumping on from law, if we look at business studies or business management, now in business management you have two kinds of programs. I'm talking about after your 12th standard, because after your graduation you can definitely do MBA, but after your 12th standard you can either do a 5-year integrated program, that means directly 3 years of graduation and 2 years of post-graduation, or you can do a 3-year graduation, and then after that you can write CAT or ZAT or any other entrance examination and try doing an MBA. If you're trying to do it from India, or if you wanted to go abroad and do something, then probably you can write GMAT and do a global MBA, a GMBA which we call it, or probably you can do an MS in management studies with this 3-year program. Both can be looked onto. Mostly if you say any industry, any organization or any company, if you see the management level, the higher management or the middle management are the ones who actually have a better and higher salary levels. Now, one of the major reasons why people do this kind of a program is for money. So another career option which can be looked into. Let's see what all we have on that. So the most commonly known 5-year program is called as IPM. Now, Integrated Program of Management, a 5-year program, which allows you to get a direct entry into IIMs, not all of them specifically. Initially, it was only Indore for this particular course, but then now we also have Rohtak, who has introduced or started taking admissions for their 5-year program. We have also heard that there are another IIMs, the baby IIMs or the new IIMs, who are also thinking to get this kind of a feature available. But currently we have these two which is available, and what is going to happen is after 12 you will directly get an admission into an IIM, wherein you'll be doing your 3-year graduation also from the IIM, and you will also directly get enrolled to their actual flagship MBA program, and after 5 years you'll be getting an actual degree from an IIM. Because normally what you need to do is you need to write CAT, you need to score well in CAT, undergo the interview process and all of those things, then you get an admission into an IIM. Here it's a direct walk to that. If I want to tell you that's near about more than near about 5 to 6 odd lakh people who write CAT examination. Let's see how many are the aspirants for this one. Like I said, direct admissions into IIM Indore and Rohtak. There are about 17,000 people write this exam every year. Comparatively than that of the other examination, this is lesser, but I would also like to tell you the number of seats in IIM Indore and Rohtak. IIM Indore has 120 seats and Rohtak has about 160 seats. So the fight is challenging, it is good, but then when we compare this with the actual CAT, then this is very less. Or when we compare this with IIT, JEE and NEET, then this is very less. Probably one area which can again be looked onto, if we need to see what are the examination consisting of, let's see that. So we'll skip the salary part, so probably the opportunities, because the average salaries which they're offering, let's take it, so about 22 odd lakhs is what the average salary what they're offering at the moment. The higher salary even goes to 90 plus lakhs. I've even heard that IIM Ahmedabad last year had a salary of 3.2 CR. Yeah, so that's something which they offer. Only one of them got it, that was an international placement. But then Mila, there have been disturbances which are there with respect to salary levels also. Lekin, looking at the current state, probably if we remove the pandemic situation, so maybe by another 10-15 odd months, we should be in a good position back again. We should come back. And if you think about your journey, 10th or 12th, whatever it is, maybe from here, another 6 odd years, we should be at a good level. We can come back to that same position. Oh yes, it's the salary of a placement which has been offered after from these IIMs, because you have to finish it. You cannot leave it. Actually, you can after 3 years also, but the recommendation is that you should continue it till 5 years. So the salary which you see is actually for a fresher. It's the placement salary which has been given to them. There are many people who don't want to work for anybody, because now things are more from my business and my role kinds of thing. So you can definitely be an entrepreneur of your own. You can have your own setups. You can have your own startups. That has definitely possible. Our country and the kind of encouragements which has been offered by the current government also, that is also helping and supporting towards the same direction, which is definitely possible with this particular career option. Let me tell you a couple of other examinations which can also be looked onto. So IPM and the 5-year integrated program, we still have, you can do BBA, you can do BMS, you can do BBS, you can do BBM. Let me tell you, different names for the same examination is what these are. At the end of the day, they all are bachelors in business administration. Because even in business administration, management studies, business studies and business management, probably 1 or 2 subjects would be different, but at the end of the day, what you're going to get is a bachelor in management degree. When we talk about the salary levels, when it's a graduation level, the college will also matter. Which college you are studying in, based on that is how you will be getting your placements. If you are at a mediocre college, then no, probably we won't be getting. You need to be at one of the best brands which are there. Now for BBA, one of the best brands is Price College, Price Bangalore. Oh, why are we like that talking about? Let's see that examination which are there. Okay, this is the examination for Christ, one of the best colleges for BBA. Look at the curriculum: English, GK, Maths, Reasoning, and DI, or Data Analysis. Remember the syllabus which was there for law, more or less the similar. There was an additional topic which was there, which was legal. If you remove this, it's the same, right? At the same time, look at Symbiosis. Symbiosis also has BBA. English, Maths, GK, General Awareness, Analytical or Logical Reasoning. Again, something similar. Narsimonji, NPAD, one of the beautiful colleges to do management and economics. They also have BSc Finance. The only condition they have is, if you want to give NPAD, you should have maths in your 11th and 12th. So even if you take commerce, they would like that you should take commerce with maths. And English, again, maths, reasoning. So most of the areas, most of the examinations, if you see, they all have a common syllabus. It's just the name of the examination which differs. And even if you see IPM, look at IPM Rohtak, the IPMAT paper. What do we have? We have again maths on English on a major side. And in fact, for Rohtak, all three have the common major: maths, English, reasoning. If I want to look at the IIM Indore syllabus, we have maths on a major side and we have English. Again, common syllabus, common topics, through which multiple domains can be looked at, right? Let me see another career option probably. So we have Christ, which you can opt for as a plan B. You can do Symbiosis. Mumbai Xavier's is also a good brand to look onto. Again, their syllabus, GK, Maths, English, Reasoning is the same. There are so many examinations in colleges which we can attempt with that one simple study. That's what probably we might need to do. We might need to study something in common and have multiple outputs to it. Looking on to, okay, so jumping from business management or business studies, mass communication. Most of the people have sometimes misinterpreted mass communication with only film line. That's not the only line which it has. So either they consider film line or journalism. So again, that's not the only two lines through which media communication or mass communication can be done. So first of all, you can do your graduation in multiple colleges. With respect to journalism, you have specific colleges where you can do journalism also. You can get a bachelor's degree in media communication also. Career prospect wise, you can try becoming an anchor, a reporter. You can be a part of the advertising industry. You can be a part of, even in film line, if you see, just not the actor, but maybe a cinematographer, probably a designer, a script writer, not just a script writer also, even in the other areas, the copywriters, the content writers who are there. So most of these things can be done from this particular profession too. You can specialize yourself in multiple domains also, probably into radios, televisions. You can be a part of the print media also. You can be a design specialist and do mass comm also. So you can also be a part of PR. Probably if you learn an additional language or something, you can get into linguistics. You can become an interpreter. You You can be a part of translations. So again, an area which is highly in demand. Now, being a translator, probably you can even look forward for ministry level jobs also. Because even they need translators, especially when you talk about German, French, Chinese or Japanese. Some of these additional languages will also complement towards this particular career option. Again, 3-year courses, graduation courses which are there, but if we are doing it, we'll have to do it from one of the best colleges. So few of the ones which you can look on to is one, Symbiosis, Xavier's. You can also look at Christ, Delhi University, Indraprasth College. There's a lot of colleges which come and fall under the Indraprasth bench also. Manipal University and Jindal. Look at the exam curriculum again. GK, Maths, English, Reasoning, Critical Reasoning or Logical Reasoning. Again for Symbiosis, there's English, Quant is Maths, Analytical Reasoning, General Awareness, again the GK and the current affair part of it. Most of them are same. So in fact the set examination, Symbiosis examination, you can have one examination for 2 different areas also. The BBA and the mass comm examination, it's similar. It's just one paper. You just have to opt for 2 different areas. So again, study less. I won't say less. Study limited and opt at multiple domains also. Do we have some few more? Okay, so a quick brush up for hotel management. That not many people are interested in hotel management nowadays, but still I thought that we can look onto it. Tanesh, what about NDA? What about that? You can directly give an examination after 12th standard for NDA and get into it. Hotel management, most of the time the reason I took this is the scope which people think is limited for getting a job only in a hotel industry. So that's one of the reasons why I thought about taking this also. So it's not that we can only get jobs in the hotel industry. Most of them, if they are looking at a culinary line, then yeah, hotels and cruises and airline industries would be the one where you can. But it's not that you are only going to become a waiter there only. The way they teach, the train, probably the initial start is little different, but then you can definitely have a better career line in hotel management also. Probably you can get into teaching. You can be a part of flights. You can have your own entrepreneurship. Probably you can be a part of the armed forces also. You can be a part of shipping and cruise lines. It's just not the hoteliers where you will be ending up into. There would again be a huge segment into it. Again, that will depend upon what kind of specialization you would be doing. Whether you are into the front office, then probably you can be somebody who will be the ground staff for airlines and cruises. If you are into confectionery and bakeries, so probably you will be into something related to that. If you are into food and beverages services, then probably into that particular department. If you are a dietitian or something like that, then the channel completely changes. It will depend upon what kind of specializations you will be taking. And again, when you talk about the courses, HM has a 4-year degree and a 3-year. There are a couple of colleges which do a 4-year degree, BA in hotel management, and you also have BSc for 3 years. And this BSc can be done even with your commerce or arts stream. It's not necessary that you should be having science to do this part also. IHM would be one of the best colleges to Indian Institute of Hotel Management. one of the best colleges where you can get admission into. IIM Delhi and Mumbai are the two good ones where you can be a part of. So the like for IIM, the entrance exam is NCHM CET. So NCHM CET is the name of the exam, and they call it as another JEE, like we have it for the engineering, the joint entrance exam. But the actual name for the exam is NCH. Let me write it here. NCHMCT. That's the name of the exam. Look at the syllabus. Numerical ability, analytical aptitude, reasoning, general knowledge, current affair, English. A different name given for maths. Right? At the same time, look at the Maharashtra CT examination for hotel management. Same syllabus, English, reasoning, GK. If you, Symbiosis also has a culinary school, Symbiosis School of Culinary and Arts. Even they have that similar exam pattern. Again, multiple areas where you can be doing, you can look onto similar syllabus and multiple options. Okay. Okay, we have a question. Is PCM required for giving NDA exam? You require science. If you're taking B also, they're more specific about maths more than PCM. So yes, you can give this examination with PCM also. The step is particularly for Oberoi group of industry. They have their own college through which they do it, and Taj also has one specifically under them, Taj in Aurangabad. They have the specific colleges. So if you are interested with these, then I would suggest, if someone who is more interested in chef line, should be something where we can look at these kind of colleges. Rest, IHM should be the one if you have to look at hotel management. That will have one of the best placements. Or Symbiosis should be also something which we can look on. Liberal arts, like the name suggests, many a times now people think that, in fact I have been listening that if you have to do two different things together, like for example you are confused between one particular area, and if you want to have two different career or two different education levels, then probably liberal arts would be a good part. But I would suggest more than that, liberal arts is an area where in this segment they teach you multiple domains. They give you the liberty of choosing what you want to learn based on your skills. For example, if you want to learn psychology and law together, probably that's a good area where you can look onto, because liberal art will give you the choice of making that selection. You want to do some kind of IT and something related to financial accounting together. You want to do management, you want to learn management, and then you want to also do something related to technical stuff, you can do that in liberal arts. Liberal arts is an area which gives you that liberty to do. In fact, most of the management industries, they are more looking forward for liberal arts students, because the input which they have is multiple. It's not just one specific level. So one area which is definitely going to be in demand in the next 4 to 5 years would be liberal arts, and just not the career prospects which you see. Most of the industry, the management industries, or depending upon what kind of specializations you take, what kind of subjects you select for your graduation, your areas and prospects keep on increasing in that manner. So one more area which can be looked onto. Not many people try opting for liberal arts, but then one area which will definitely have a huge scope in the future is what I would suggest. Again, if you look at the examination, so colleges wise, even in Pune, you have Symbiosis, which is offering liberal art courses. You have Flame in Pune again, which is offering that course. Both are good colleges. Again, the entrance examination wise also, it's the similar pattern which is there. If you want to get across somewhere in the north, then Jindal and Ashoka, both the universities also have liberal arts, which is offering and with good placement also. But then students who are nearby to Pune or Mumbai, probably I would suggest Symbiosis and Flames as a better option to go on. Finally, coming on to economics. Now, people who have good analytical abilities, probably with respect to statistics, and they have interest in getting into administrations, with developments, with any kind of or a blended interest in finance and administration together. Probably economics could be a good area to look onto, because scope-wise, not many people opt for this particular degree now. Earlier, there were many who used to do that. And if you look at the career prospects, most of them, so you have some kind of trading organization or national councils for applied economics, planning commissions, export houses, IMF, or government or private sector banks, public finance and policy departments, WHOs, UN. You just keep on naming them. So your journey, the better the college, the placements are always into some kind of a local administrative body, state administrative bodies, national administrative body, or probably much bigger than that. So that's the requirement of this area. The more you get certified, the more analytical and economical you become in this particular field, better is your earning also. This is an area where you have power, position and money all together coming in. So do not leave this, is what I would suggest. Now, a couple of colleges offer, in fact most of the colleges offer BA economics, but then you still have colleges which is also offering BSc economics. Like I was talking about the Narsimhanji College, they are also offering BSc economics. They also have BSc finance also. So one good college where you can actually do BA economics. You also have a Symbiosis which is offering BA economics. At the same time, you also have Bouquet Institute in Pune, which is well-known institutes for political science and politics and economics, which is also doing their UG now. There's a different examination conducted by them. It's the college entrance exam itself, but the syllabus again remains the same. They don't have any deviation. So someone who's again prepared for something like this can also cater to that examination too. So in short, if I have to say, few sections of syllabus. So English as one, quant, the general quant, maths as one, and GK mostly current affair as a segment, and logical reasoning as a segment. Now, if you have this 4 in with you, most of the unconventional career options can be looked on. So you don't have to study separately for different areas. What you just need to see is which is the perfect area which is blending with your skills, which is the area which you see yourself 7 to 8 years down the line, and you will be able to look onto it. If you add legal as a subject to that also, then probably you will have law and all other areas which you can look onto. according to me, if you ask me, one can be economics, which you can look onto. You can get into IPM, a direct entry into IIMs, and you can look forward to law as an unconventional career option. If you are sure that you do not want to get into into any technical engineering or medicine line. I just said that if I include legal as a subject along with these four, you can do all law exams in this country. So English, maths, logical reasoning, GK, and legal. This is one more section, additional section for law entrance examinations. In fact, that will get into all the law entrance examinations which exist in this particular country. If I remove legal, the area which I have is again English, maths, logical reasoning, and GK. If we see one entrance exam for all of these career options is what we have. So if that's what you have asked, Manisha, then that's what I was saying about law. And I'm sure that there are many of you who might have a fear with respect to maths, but let me tell you, the maths which they question, that maths is only elementary level. They'll be only questioning you things which you have learned till now, probably percentages, ratio proportion variations, time, speed, distance, simple interest, compound interest, number systems. So whatever you have learned till your elementary level is what the maths is. And the percentages of maths for other, it will vary actually, let me tell you, it will keep on varying. But when I specifically talk about IPM, there you would slightly need an additional input, because there you will have higher mathematics also. Both the IPM examinations, so there would be IPM higher mathematics questions there. Rest all of them, the level of maths is 10 standard. Now, most of us, we have a feeling that all of us want to get into one of the best colleges. But let me remind you one thing. There are limitations to that also. If you want to get into the top ones, you'll have to start early also, because we have seen a lot of journeys, and only few of you has that capacity to reach the top. Because once you're there on the top, once you're there on the top-notch colleges, then only these things fall into place. Right now, if you look at most of the things, we need to be there on the top colleges. We don't have an option. Automatically, few of them will reach there. But then we all have to fight it so that we get to that particular level. If you look at the remaining, like this particular page says, mediocrity is what is there with you. But I would say, in fact, not me, I took it out from Google, only in Hoover, who always used to keep on saying that a life of mediocrity is a waste of life. Being medium, general, common, kuch nahi hoga. We have to be on the top, and automatically hum top pe nahi pahunchenge. We'll have to work onto it. We'll have to do something. That's one of the major reasons why I said in the beginning that 11th standard is not a cooling off period. It's an area where we'll still have to keep on doing. After 12, after your entrance examinations, you have a lot of cooling period with you, because there you know that now for sure this is where I'm going to end up. And instead of getting into those same lines of engineering, medicine, and chartered accountancy, if you still want to continue in that same fight, do it if that is definite for you to do that. If not, then it's time to think different. Like Steve Jobs said, it's time for all of us to think different, and we will have to think a little bit in detail also. So let's quickly take a couple of questions which is coming up. We have a question which says, can we take up law and business management and all after science also? If I understand that question correctly, if you are wanting to ask whether you can take law business management and all of these things even after science, yes, you can definitely take it. The only challenge is when you are studying, when you will be doing your academics, there will be a lot of time which you would be inputting for science. If you are a person where you can manage and blend between science and your entrance exam together, there is nothing harm in it. You can definitely do all of these fields after science also. If that's what you meant by that question, Manisha. Okay, so we have another question. Do we have to give NATA for interior designing? No, there are different designing examinations. Specifically, if you're looking at architecture, then probably NATA. Okay, it will depend upon what college also you get into. But there are different interior designing, like Symbiosis has a different examination for designing. So need not necessary that for interior examination only NATA is the one which can come to. There are different colleges with different entrance exam also. You can give that entrance exam even without science. If that's to answer to your question, I'm sorry if I took that name wrong. Sorry about that. Okay, any other questions? We'll take a few other questions before I hand it over to Manu sir again. What stream do we take for designing? Yeah, like I mentioned, if it is architecture and specifically technical related, then you'll have to take science stream compulsorily. But then if it is like fashion designing, jewelry designing, interior designing, then probably you need not compulsorily take science. There are you can even do commerce and arts. Through that you can get these examinations. But if it is architecture and specific technical designing, then you need science. Without that, there's no option. Alrighty, any other questions? We can. If no questions, then okay, there's something which came up. Kalpana is saying that since I'm interested in computer and I'm good in hacking also, so should I opt for IIT? Kalpana, I'm sure you haven't done anything with our system yet. I could see a lot of disturbance in the middle of it. Thanks for letting us know that you're good in hacking. It's good that you are interested in computers. What is important is not whether you should opt for IIT. It's important that you crack these examinations and you get into engineering. If that's your passion, if that is something which is interesting you to go further, definitely you can opt for IIT. There's nothing harm into it. But then try to get one of the best colleges is what I would suggest. Better IITs would definitely be better, NITs would definitely be better. But if none of these things work out, if engineering did not happen, you can probably still continue your passion with something like cyber law also, because if hacking is where you are into, you should also know what are the laws involved into that. So probably you can do cyber law. Along with that, you can do some external certifications for ethical hacking also. Probably you can refer to Ankit Fadia, a lot of books which he writes around. Could be of some help to you. I hope that answers your question, Kalpana. Saurabh is asking, is it scope for diploma to do engineering after 10? If your question is if you like polytechnical diploma, it's a easier way of getting into an engineering college. But then through that, are you getting an entry into one of the IITs? No. आप वापस वही भीड़ में उनके पीछे जा रहे हैं और उसके भी like you will be doing 3 years of your diploma and 3 years of your engineering. The only leeway what you're going to get is your first year. You get an admission directly into your second year. जहाँ पे आप 6 साल का ऐसा देख रहे हो, वहाँ पे आप 6 साल में ये देख रहे हो. But then again, look onto it. It's an easier method of getting into engineering. अगर आप करना चाहते हो and if engineering is the one which you definitely want to do it, then go for it. Nothing like it.
Thank you very much, Miraj sir, for your information about career guidance, what you can do after your 12th, what are the various options in law, BBA, IPM, hotel management, mass communication. It was a wonderful information. Just to let you know, my name is Manu Abraham. I am the director for Career Launcher Pune. I have been running Career Launcher from last 5 years in Pune. And about Career Launcher is a 25-year-old organization. It's an IPO listed company. And we have 225 centers in around 175 locations. Okay. And CL Pune, like Career Launcher is in Pune from last 20 years. Last year for law, almost 50 students got selected in National Law University from Pune itself. That's a very big number. Normally from any of the branches, 2 or 3 students get selected, but from Pune specifically, almost 50 students reached NLUs. If you see the other top schools for law, like Symbiosis, almost there are around 30 to 40 students in Symbiosis. For ILS Pune, we have a complete batch which is there in ILS Pune. So for law preparation or for BBA, for IPM, we are one of the best institutes in Pune or in the country. Next. So these are the courses that we offer. If you can see, law, with various exams for law, PAT, SLAT, CET, these are all the exams for law. Then you have IPM, BBA, HM, SET, mass communication, and we also prepare for MBA entrance exams, all management entrance exams as well. Okay, thanks. So our new batches that we would be launching, 18 July we have a batch, which is a weekend batch. That batch timing would be 4 to 6 on Saturday, and Sunday it is 2 to 6 p.m. The fees for that batch is 75k, which is a one-time payment. This is a batch for law, which is a 1-year batch. Okay, so this is for the aspirants of CLAT 2021. So we have a similar batch, which is a weekday batch for law. That would be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Evening 6 to 8 is the time, which would be starting from 13th of July. And we have an IPM batch. IPM is, for the people who know it is fine, otherwise IPM is a exam wherein it's an integrated program from which is a 5 years integrated program for your MBA, for doing MBA. Okay, so the batch would be launching from 11th of July, Saturday 6 to 8 and Sunday 10 to 2. Fees for that is 65k, which is a one-time payment that you need to do. So any other questions you have? I think we haven't mentioned, we also have a 2 years batch for the aspirants who are looking for 2020. Okay, so we have 1 year batch, we have 2 year batch. Fees would vary for a 2 year batch. So guys, any other questions? I have given you the numbers for Miraj sir, and also I'll just mention my number as well. You can directly WhatsApp. If you want to chat, few students are comfortable in chatting, so you can chat also, whatever informations you need, or even you can email. So we would be replying with the information that you require. So guys, anything else? There's a question, what is the 2-year law program law fees? So for 2 years, our fees is, it's around 85,000 for a 2-year law. So if you have any other questions, you can talk to us personally or email us, or you can WhatsApp us. So thank you very much. All the best and have a wonderful evening.